Hello, hello. Welcome back for another video. So I'm going to share this screen a little bit there. Oh, what happened? Oh, there it is. All right. Let's see what size do I want to make it. I think that's a good size. Yep, that's a good size. All right, gonna let a few people get in here as usual, and then we'll go from there. But today's topic is going to be about, uh, I name these things and I totally forget the names. Um, but black people in response to the COVID-19. Um, what's been going on is a lot of things. We've seen the numbers, and I may actually look into the numbers while I'm here. I'm just going to pull up some random news source, um, and we'll go over the numbers probably after this. But we're going to start off with the evidence, as I like to do usually. I like to start off with the basis for what I'm talking about, then go into the context of it uh, more specifically. But this is going to be about the um, uh, the condition. It was like what Angry Man was talking about last night. If you guys didn't catch the show, people's, especially black people's, looks onto um, how they view this COVID situation and how they're reacting to it. And it is coming off reckless, in my opinion. What's going on, cats? It's coming off very reckless. Um, they're not adhering to what the writing on the wall is saying. Say more than 50% of white people are already tested. Number uh, Tested first. The numbers need to catch up for black people testing. Black testing. Well, once again, this is a situation that can be wholly avoided with just certain practices of uh, hygiene and habits. Uh, Black people, we are becoming collectively, not every individual, of course, but we're becoming a group that is widely affected by this. And I believe that our common practices have something to do with it, but I believe our social understanding, um, our social behaviors have a lot to do with it. We are um, very, we're very busybody. We don't like sitting down somewhere. You know, we don't like, um, we don't like no distractions. We don't like having any uh, to no distractions. We love the distractions. And we distract each other. We do it by way of all the fuckery that goes on. The TV, the music, the our culture. Our culture is a complete distraction, for the most part, of what we are not supposed to do, what we don't need to do. It's a distraction from what we need to do. Put it that way, because we need to focus on different things, but no, we let other things distract us into the oblivion that we're in right now. Like I said, this was like I did in my last stream. This was the reason why I believe this came in the first place. But it is also, because it's a double-edged sword. For everything that you don't do, something gets done, and irregardless. Um, because the world stays in motion. That's just the way it is. That's how relativity works. Especially when you're dealing with a society. For every action, there's reaction. It's just that I don't think that we're paying attention to it. For the situation to put things at a standstill, we still face we still found a way to put ourselves in a negative consequential outcome. I don't know how that's possible. I mean, because that's been our whole culture. The things that we have done, we put ourselves in a negative consequential outcome by our own choices. By our own choices. So it's weird to me again that when we have these things stripped away from us, these distractions, that we still find some way to put ourselves in a negative consequential outcome. What's going on, Mike Kendra? We still find a way to do this. I have been planning to actually do this live stream for a few days. Angry Man actually beat me to it because I was lazy. This is a live stream that I was telling everyone that I was going to do. But I figured, since he did his, I might as well throw mine on into the pot. My perspective, my views on the social behaviors of black people and how why this is negatively affecting us more so than other people. Sure, you can find plenty of videos uh, online where you see other groups gathering. Um, Actually, I think I have one set to the side. Um, Hold on for a second. Hold on. But I have a video set to the side, and it was going to show that even white people are doing this. But the thing is, they have different behavioral practices than we do. Um, their behaviors on certain hygiene things are different than ours. For instance, they use hand sanitizer. I don't think I've ever been to a black household, even within my own family. Not that my memory's that great anyway, but even during my life now, where they have hand sanitizer. I have a huge big bottle of it that I always replace that. Um, but it just goes with certain behaviors, washing your hands. Everyone knows that washing your hands is the best thing that you can do for yourself and others that you come in contact with. Sure, wearing a mask is very appropriate during this time, although at the same time, washing your hands is still more effective than wearing a mask. And I'm not discounting that wearing a mask is inappropriate, because, like I said, it's very appropriate. It's just that the more effective thing that you can do is simply washing your hands. That's simply it. Um, and limiting, I would say a close third to that, because we still have to live day to day life. Washing your hands comes number one. Um, Wearing a mask comes number two. Number three, I would say, is limiting where you go. But if you look at the top three of these things, and you'll see it in the videos, I could say that a lot of people probably are not washing their hands. A lot of people are not wearing masks, and they're definitely not limiting the way they where they go. And these are the top three things that you can do to prevent yourself from becoming a victim of this virus. In my opinion, I'm not a medical professional, but I have studied enough. I know a lot about biology, because that's one of my core tenets of my degree, anyways. So uh, I know a semi good deal about it because I have to. It's not because I want to. It's whatever. But because I don't even want to do anything with biology, to be honest with you. I'm more geared towards the actual physical part of physical science, but biology is part of it. Um, let's see, Kendra says natural selection, nothing more. Disproportionately affecting the idiots. We pass the baton around here because we can always have a different perspective. Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I knew even if I did the video and Angry Man did it subsequently, or you did it, or BJ did it, or it was going to be a completely different topic. I mean, well, it was going to be a completely different context, and that's what mine is, anyways. Since I watched Angry Man's, and I was like, well, what I have to say about it is a little different, because I had planned to talk about it anyways. It's just a little different, anyways. Um, so let's go ahead and get on with the video. None of this, all this stuff here is freelance. Uh, I am going to do another video. I think I might do it after this one because this one shouldn't be that long. It's not going to be like an hour long. Um, I'm just going to show the videos and I'm going to talk briefly about the videos as they're going on. And a lot of this stuff is freelance, so there's really no copyright to be had because there was no copyright put in for it per se. What's going on, BJ? So I should be safe showing these videos at length at my discretion. Um, yeah. So because it really doesn't show anybody's face in particular or anything like that. But anyway, I'm talking. Let me go ahead and get on with the video. And I'm going to include the dates on these videos. As you can see up here in the top left corner, this says April 12th. Today is the 28th, so it's 14 days ago. So let's get on with it. Oh, get out of here. I swear I just played these videos. Oh, there it is. I was about to say. Now, this is during the uh, when they had the stay-at-home order, of course. Damn near nationwide. Um, it said that stay at home, don't do anything. As you can see, there are children, there are babies out there. Uh, that little kid right there. You know, um, there are all age groups out there. So this isn't necessarily a age group basis discussion. This is more so. This is what's going on. Like I said, this is freelance work. This is people. This is what people are showing that is going on in their own neighborhoods. None of this is made up. Now, there's a part in here where the cops actually show up. Let me skim to that. I want you to see what goes on with that. This is honestly, I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing. I have no idea. I watched this entire video. As you can see, it is 25 minutes long, right? I have no idea what they're doing. Like it's like nobody's birthday party. I don't see any cake, no barbecues going. They're just outside. Oh, there it is. If you notice, look at the cop. Look at the cops. They show up on the scene and they are wearing masks. They're wearing masks. And I'm not saying this is because uh, you know they're white or anything like that. It just goes to show that different sections have a different cultural behavior. It's just that they do things completely different. And this is once again, this is not saying they are better than us, nothing like that. It's just that when we are giving certain tools in order to fix things, this is a common trend within the black community, if you want to call it that, that we do not take adherence. We don't take adherence. We shove away everything that could fix our situation, just like that, and we do the complete opposite willingly in a large mass. This isn't like a few people, as you can see. Like look how many people are here. Look how many people are just out here. The sheer numbers. there has to be at least closer to about 800 people outside. 800 people. And that's what I estimated based on the different areas that this camera was panning to, and the clumps of people that were there. I kind of counted them individually, and it roughly panned out to me 600 to 800. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch a little bit more of the video. Now, in the beginning of the video, let's see, we're at 241. Beginning of the video, you'll notice that there's a different crowd size, right? For the same area, because the guy didn't move much. Look at that crowd size. And this is somehow, oh yes, the COVID is attacking black people. This is somehow uh a conspiracy, like Angry Man said and many others, that this is somehow a conspiracy to get black people. I mean, I'm not going to show the video that Angry Man came across, because I came across this subsequently after I put together the links for my videos, the one in Atlanta. But this is actually, I think this one is in Georgia too, I want to say. I don't know. I have to research that a little bit. But uh nonetheless, this is during the order, stay at home order. Look at the crowd size. Let's go forward a little bit. As you can see, the crowd sizes, they are changing just slightly, because that corner right there, that's where that car came down. As you can see, they're dispersing. They're dispersing. And there's a cop car out there. He said the government ain't never did nothing for me. He trying to save you. That's what he trying. Notice, once again, it takes the cops to come for you to do something that you're supposed to be doing. Why does it take that? Why does it? I don't understand it. Why does it take the cops? And it's not like you're doing anything for profit, because there are certain things that we have in the so-called black community that we do, that are not so legal, that in certain circumstances I can deem them as necessary due to the limited options in order to feed your children. Now, the problem is, once again, that they aren't doing anything. They're not doing anything. There's no purpose for them to be outside. There's no purpose for the large gathering. Um, there's no there's no reason. It's almost like, if you had the curiosity of cats and they somehow herded together just to be shot. It just snowballs from there. A few people come outside and everybody's wondering why there's such a large crowd, and more people show up, and more people can show up, and then they just happen to be standing around like, why are we here? Um, and it's weird that we move in such a way like that. But nonetheless, that goes back to our behavior, because um, we understand that white people are nosy, but black people are too. If something's going outside, they're out their window. And the false sense of security comes when we see a large group, another large group of people doing it. We jumped on the bandwagon and that, but the threat has not gone away. Like I said, the writing is on the wall. But anyway, we're going to continue just a little bit more on this video. and just so I can show y'all guys the uh, the uh, the points of which this stuff started to change. Notice the crowds are changing because the cops showed up. Why do the cops have to threaten you with a ticket to your livelihood when there's already a threat there? Why? Why do they need to do that? Why do the cops need to say why is there uh a fine associated with you being outside in order to stop you from going outside when there's already a big enough threat? I mean, a fine you can pay, but can you pay your life back if it's taken by this virus? I don't think so. I don't understand the logic, but anyway, let's scroll forward a little bit. As you can see, the cops, they don't, you know, they don't want to be out there as much as anybody, because they understand the threat just like anybody else does. They're like, I'm here to do my job because this is the job that I decided to do, and I hate that I have to show up and police you guys back into your houses. That's essentially more than likely what they're showing. I mean, so they probably would gave out a few tickets maybe, but they probably don't want to do that either because that involves them having to interact with the public like that. They don't, despite them being officers or whatever. And I really don't care for officers personally, so this isn't me talking highly for them, but I'm just looking at it from a human to human aspect. It's despite them being officers, they're still human and they still understand threat just like we do. Um, to a different degree, of course, because some of their reactions, yeah, we can. That's a totally different discussion, but nonetheless, they still understand their own mortality to some degree, you know. So they don't want to interact with these people at all. They don't want to talk to them. They don't even want to give them tickets. Like I said, they understand their mortality. But why is it that these people had to come down to disperse a crowd that was not supposed to be happening in the first place? Why? Why did they need to do that? And as you can see on Angry Man's uh uh his stream, he showed the house in Atlanta. It was packed elbow to elbow. So before, during, and after, the behavior still remained the same because this is what black people have done for a very long time. We have packed in places and we have done these things. And due to our what do you call it? Our behavior, due to our uh, false sense of security, we continue to do these things even during a very threatful time where doing those things could mean your life potentially. Why roll the dice? Why roll the dice? If I'm personally, I'm not a Black Lives Matter advocate or anything like that, but I'll say it, if Black lives really matter, why are we putting each other at risk? Because I think Black Lives Matter is a misdirection. It is a look over here and don't pay attention to what we're doing. Because there are things that we can do to send the message to other cultures that our lives do matter. But when we do things like this, no one takes us serious. They say they look at what we do and they say, well, you don't even care about your own life, so why should we? You know, um, it's a strange dilemma that black people put themselves in, because it's strange because they should not be doing these things anyways, and then when they are made to leave, they feel some type of way about it, like, oh well, the government can't tell me what to do, and the government this and that. But the thing is, don't you care about yourself first? Regardless of what the government says you should or shouldn't do, if your safety is at risk, why are you risking it willingly for no reason? I don't understand. But anyway, let's continue with this video a little bit. They're saying if you don't, live here, you got to leave. And if you live here, you need to go in your apartments. That's what they said. Don't take it serious. Don't. They're not taking anything serious. Just outside doing nothing. Now, if you notice, there's nobody there. It took the cops to disperse them. And I don't even think they threatened them with tickets. They probably may have, but it took the cops to disperse them when the threat was already there. The cops are not the threat. The cops are not the biggest threat. Like I said, the cops probably don't even want to be there. So the cops aren't the threat. The threat was always present, but it took the cops to come down to why is it that we tend to believe that we should have been be in charge of our lives, and that the government shouldn't tell us to do things, the cops shouldn't tell us to do things. Why can't we take our own onus onto ourselves first, so that these people don't have to come down in the first place to tell us anything? And I'm not saying, once again, I understand that there are certain circumstances that us as a people we dive in that are not completely legal. But the thing is, this goes back to the mindset that the black community is not headed by masculinity. That's what this is showing, in my opinion. That's essentially what this is showing, because men, we take charge, we make rules, we make foundation, we make uh uh uh, uh rules for eventuality. We make contingency. There's no contingency. There's no reason to be outside. The direction is just a mass gathering for no reason. It's chaos. Simply all it is. That's how you know men are not the head of these things. Because anything that, and I do mean men as in men, not boys or any other, not dudes, not any of the sections that have the same anatomy as a man, but the the being of a man, the spirit of a man. That's what I'm talking about. No man is present, because men, we get things in order. We don't need the cops to come down to tell us how to live our lives. We don't need that. When the last time I talked to a cop was? It's been many years ago, and it was about, I don't know. It was just something. Oh, I remember what it was, because I was outside walking my dog, and the cop, he was a canine unit, and we just started chit chatting about uh training dogs, because that's what I was doing. I was walking my dog down the street to go train him in an open field, and he stopped me. He was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He was like, "I like your dog." Whatever. We started chit. That was the last time I talked to a dog. I wasn't doing anything wrong. We were just having a general conversation, person to person. But I don't have to talk to cops. You know why? Because my life is in order. My life is in order. It's not in order according to what they deem purposely. Because there have been times in my life where I haven't done the most legal thing. There have been times in my life, but nonetheless, it still had structure to it, to the point where the cops didn't have to come talk to me. It's not necessarily about the legality of what you are doing versus not doing. It's just if it has a purpose behind it, and if it's serving your means. None of this stuff that you see going on what I'm showing you is serving any purpose. It's just chaos. There's no structure to it. There's no direction. People are just outside. But anyway, let's go over to the next video. Um, this was this was actually the other. Oh no, it was yesterday. Yesterday, it said we had one thing to do. My people stay in until this passes. But the governor says the state is open, so y'all run to hang out. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it, so I had to film it so y'all could see too. SMH, y'all pray for GA. So it's not all black people that are like. Let's see. Because it probably didn't. Let's go back. All right. This is Georgia. Yesterday. No reason, just out there. Nobody's doing anything special. we're just hanging out. Now, like I said, there are portions of us that understand that this is not something that we should be engaging in. They understand that we should not uh, be that just because the government says, because there's a large section of us that don't understand this, and there's a small section of us that do. That just because the government says, that's the structure that I'm talking about. That's the masculine structure that I'm talking about. That on one side you have men and women following a structure that is necessary for them to survive in these times. And before these times, this is something that we practice beforehand. Like I said, we moved in such a way that we didn't need the intervention of the government. So therefore, we're going to move in a certain way, regardless of what the government says. You won't catch me out at the barbershop. You won't catch me out at the barbershop before this. When I noticed something was going on, my head has been rough for a minute. It's been rough for like 2 months because I started to notice that the climate was changing, and I was like, huh, let me sit back and look. And then they came out with that this stuff was going on because I noticed that people were getting sick, and I was like, I probably should limit my interaction with people, and I probably should limit the places that I frequent in regards to there being a large portion of people coming in and out. And I still practice my habits with hand sanitizer and stuff like that, even before all this. Because, like I said, I've been had this big bottle of hand sanitizer for a minute. I use it sparingly, but I use it when I believe that I need to use it. And that's sometimes when I go places and I come back home. I have this huge bottle. Once again, these are the practices and the behaviors that I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about um, the individual section of people. I'm talking about the behaviors that separate us. This is how we can separate who has some structure in their life versus who doesn't have some structure in their life, because it's going to precede over into the side um, before, during, and after this. Once again, the behaviors, how we do things, how we interact, that is what I'm talking to. But as you can see, as soon as they could gather together, they did that. But as you can see from the last video that I was showing, they did that anyways. And I'm sure you guys already know that before this, black people were doing this. That's the behavior. That's what I'm talking to. I'm talking to the prevalence that we need to change our structure. We need to change how we do things, because this is more telling. It's just that we're becoming a victim to what we have been doing all along. So we can't stop doing that. What I'm saying is that we need to change the way we have always been doing things, because that'll protect us in the future when we go into our habits. Because this is something that I learned from the military, that the reason why we train, we would do the same move over and over and over again. We would have our weapons by our side, and we'll pull them up to our sights, and then we'll bring it down. We'll pull them up to our sights, bring it down. We did it thousands of times, and we did it at pointing at a target. We did it pointing at a target over and over and over again. We did it thousands of times till your arms damn near fell off. Why? Is because it becomes reactionary when you're approached with that situation again, where you have to find your target really fast. So you bring your weapon up really fast, and you do it without even thinking. Once again, this goes into what I'm saying. The pathology of what black people have been doing is the reason why we are victims to this the most. It just so happens that this is a very social virus. Like most viruses are. They come through you interacting a certain way. But it's just so happening that this has lined up to our behavior very well. It's not necessarily that we are being targeted. It's just that we are targeting ourselves due to our own behaviors. That's what the problem is. It's not the virus. The virus is not the problem, because everyone knows that you can just wash your hands, wear a mask, and limit your exposure to large groups and gatherings, and you should be fine. I've been doing that this whole time, and I haven't been sick. What do you know? What do you know? I've been limited in the places that I go. I only go to Walmart when I need stuff, or I may go to Home Depot when I need stuff. And I stay far the hell away from people. I see a person coming down the aisle, I'll go down the next aisle. It's that serious, right? But that's something that I have in practice already. But anyway, let's I think I got one more. Yep, yeah, I got one more video for you guys. This is on April 25th. This is actually in Detroit. Beauty supply store opens 7 Mile in Wyoming. This is on April 25th. Hold on, let's bring this out a little bit. Oh, come on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But anyway, beauty supply store. Soon as it didn't see, that's the problem. It's not the beauty supply store that is the problem. It's not that at all. Because the beauty supplies, they were closed, but the desire was already there. The desire to engage in these things was already there. It's trained behavior at this point. It's the reason why you're going to keep getting sick as a group. It's the reason why you're going to have the highest death rate as a group, because of your behaviors. It's not the beauty supply stores that's the problem. It's not the parties that's the problem. It's not the drugs and alcohol. It's not any of these stuff. It's not any of this stuff. It's the behavior that's the problem. The behavior. Change your behavior. You change your perspective. You change how you move. That's how I see it. You change how you see things and how you view things. You'll change the outcomes that you get. It's not any of this stuff. It's not any of this stuff. It's not, as black people, I guarantee you the stocks in, if there was a stock, the stocks in Chinese food has plummeted, because we are a large partition of people who frequent Chinese spots. I do too. I like Chinese food. But as soon as this came out, the stigmatism, this is no different than this is no different than the actual Corona drink losing stock because it was associated with the name coronavirus. This is how dumb that is. This is how dumb that is. And it's so many layers to this. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm trying to peel them back. That it's not the name, it's not the place, it's not the product, it's the behavior. The behavior of the people. That's the problem. And it sounds so fundamental to say, but I don't mean it in a cliche way. Nothing I say is in a cliche way. This is because of the society putting a cliche on it, that when I say these things get breezed over. But I want to talk to the meaning of these things. The behavior is how you do things. It isn't necessarily why you do things. It's how you do things. For instance, like I'll go back to when I was in the military. You know, we did the up and down with our weapons. It was a movement of how to do a movement. It wasn't a reason why, because the reason why changed based on the circumstances, but the reaction to the circumstances was always the same. Meaning that even if it was a target that was 300 meters away, it was a plastic target, I still moved in that action versus someone 300 meters away that was pointing a gun at me. My reaction was the same because I trained for this due to the behavior. It created the behavior that I needed in order to survive in a situation that was a non threat and a situation that was a threat. The behavior. That's the problem. It isn't the situation that's the problem. It's the behavior. The behavior is what's going to be your demise. So work on your behavior and you might change some of your outcomes. You may change some of the things that you become victim to. I wouldn't even say that it's the mindset, because No matter what the mindset is, if the behavior is worked on, you can change the mindset through the behavior because you'll start to see what the outcomes are. But you have to work on the behavior first. A lot of people would think that that's backwards, but I think that even if you don't believe in something, if you practice it enough, it'll come a time where it serves you good, especially if it's a good behavior. For instance, you know, the washing of hands. Washing of hands. It may not be something you necessarily believe is necessary for your life in order to survive, but if you practice this behavior all along, it wouldn't be a surprise that it will be a benefit to you now during this time. You see what I'm getting at? So it necessarily isn't the mindset. If you practice the behavior in the first place, sure, you have to have a certain mindset in order to understand that there's a benefit to these things. But if you move like people who are successful are, even if you don't understand, you'll start to come to understand why they're successful. So you don't necessarily have to understand everything. Just do what just do what you understand works. Just do not because of how you feel, not because of let's get all that out of the way. It's because of the behavior. Because that's your problem. It's not it's not the society. It's not the white supremacy power structure because we feed that. It's not any of that. It's your behavior that's the problem. And it's not like you're a little kid. I'm talking about, oh, that's a bad kid. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. How you move. That's the problem. It's not why you move, when you move. It's not any of that. It's how you move. That's the problem. But anyway, let me go to this chat as I usually do. Say hello to everyone. Cause I'm about to wrap this up soon. My little thanks for my little 24 people that came through. Y'all the winners today. Let's see. Bayou Bunny was good. How you doing? How you doing? Let's see. Let's see. Y'all too. Cats Secure. I thought that was just me and my dad. Let's see. What was said? Oh, let's go up. I missed some. Let's see. Because I like to read the comments. It's a lot. Y'all was talking a lot. Tori Rain, what's good, brother? It was supposed to be an Easter cookout. I did a video about this when it was first a couple of weeks ago. Okay, gotcha. But I didn't see no cake. I didn't see no barbecue grills going on. What the hell's going on? What was everybody doing? They was just walking around talking. They weren't doing anything. Um, Kim says they just outside not doing the damn thing productive. Yeah, uh, they are doing that in Cali, Louisiana, where my people is from. Shake my head. Why are they all coming together for nothing? That's what I'm wondering. What's the purpose? They are dumb and just plain old stupid. Yes. Um, wouldn't even be having uh, a get together of if it wasn't a quarantine. Half of them don't even like each other. The other half don't even know each other. Yes, I don't agree that they would have been having uh, a session that big of a session if it were any other time. But nonetheless, the behavior is what brought them outside because this is something that they're used to doing. In my opinion, though, they were second lining on Broad Street the second week in before the police came and threatened to race them all. And why does it take, you know, um, them to get in line? Why does it take the police for them to get in line? What's going on, Brenda? Who has the Easter cookout anyway? I think they made that up to justify getting together. They were literally not doing anything, not even having a lit party. A lit party was happening. Yep, they weren't doing nothing. White Bunny was good. Let's see. Let's say y'all too. Cats Country. I thought it was just me and my dad. Yeah, that's where that came from. Now I understand. They're so disrespectful and they really don't respect any type of authority. Nope. I mean, but they got it together. You know, um when the people came down, you know, to say, because like you know, I showed the difference in between how big the crowd was in the beginning versus the end. It was a complete difference. You know, it was like maybe 50 people outside, maybe 50 to 100 people outside at that time. Um, when after the cops showed, and they didn't even do anything. They just stood there and talked to a few people. They just stood there and they just like, oh, I think I'm gonna go back in the house now. You know, there's no way that the cops. I mean, they on loud horns tell them, hey, y'all need to go in the house. You know, but they already knew that, so they weren't telling them nothing that they already knew. So it wasn't like the cops made a huge difference in what they decided to do anyways. It's just that I guess now we need a reason to move because, you know, there's people showing that people's are showing up on us. I mean, come on. I don't understand. I don't understand them. Oh no, large crowds low key make me nauseous and anxious. Same here. You know, I don't like large crowds. I don't like, um, you know, I can do large crowds for a certain period of time, but I have to have a purpose of why I'm doing it in the first place. But you won't catch me in a large crowd just because, you know, because now I'm going to start paying attention to all the shit that people don't normally pay attention to, and it's going to make me anxious. But anyway. BJ says the Crimson Cure large crowd signified to me that there's a bunch of people who want to stunt on each other and can't stand each other. Yep, it's crazy. What's going on, James? Good to see you here. Let's see. News and talk. Hey, sweetie. Okay. Y'all having a little side conversation. Then if the cops get rowdy, then they will claim police brutality and oppression from the cops. But you shouldn't have been gathering anyway. Exactly. Exactly. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand it. These people, they make me question stuff so much. Uh, a a big herd is only good for one thing. Yeah. Because subconsciously they don't have value in their own lives, and I believe that's so. You know, I believe that's the reason why they take a risk. It's because they don't value their lives like they should. You know, that's the same thing I said about Black Lives Matter. You know, we should be spearheading that with our own how we move, our behavior, how we do things. We should be telling people that our lives matter by how we care about our own lives. But that's not evidently so. It seems that we want something that we aren't willing. We want something from other people that we aren't willing to give to ourselves, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Wait, all them YouTube people on the court steps with a 15 crowd that wasn't broken up. They weren't taking it serious either. I think I heard about that. Yeah. The oh yeah, the people in Colorado. Yeah. But once again, it's not is you have to you can't use that as a basis because it still does not explain the numbers of why black people are disproportionately affected by this. It's because of the behaviors. The behaviors, you can't just say a one for one thing that a large group of white people equals the same thing as a large group of black people because we do different things within those groups. That's what I'm pointing here. And that goes to our behaviors that we have with each other because the behaviors that we have with each other in a group or versus a small group or just with our partners are completely different. Well, I won't say completely different, but they are enough difference to make the separation between those affected and those not affected. That's what I'm saying. So it isn't necessarily the group, but the group is the largest basis for it that I'm pointing out. And it trickles down into the smaller groups, into how we interact with the public, and then how we interact with our immediate family, and then what we do with ourselves. This is completely different from what white people are doing. You know, yes, I totally agree that the white people have been doing it too. But why aren't they affected like we are? Why? So you can't necessarily say that it's the group. You know, that would be a false positive to say that, oh, because there's a group. Well, that would be a compositional fallacy to say that because there's a group, everyone is going to be affected. No, it's the behaviors that's the problem. Did y'all see the party on I-95 in Florida? No, I did. I'm gonna look for that one. I'm sure I can find so many videos of stuff like this happening. But I'm using this as a basis to show that this is happening in large crowds with black people, because I already know that it's happened with a Jewish community, it's happened with Mexican community, it's happened with a few more communities, but they aren't affected by this. Why? It's because when they disperse from them crowds, they go back home and they do different things than what we do. That's what I'm saying. That we don't have the practices set up to stop this stuff from coming into our houses, infecting the people that we know, affecting the people that we come in contact with. We don't have the practices for that. The behavior. The reason why black people, if you notice, let's use Stanley White's point. He said, wait, all of them on YouTube, people on the court with AR-15s. That crowd wasn't broken up and they weren't taking it serious either. Okay, let's use that. Let's go with that. I said this wasn't gonna be long, but we already here, so let's do it. Let's use that. So here you have a white crowd with weapons, guns, whatever, standing on the Capitol building, because this happened actually in Colorado. Standing on the Capitol building versus black people outside of their houses forming in large groups. What are the differences? And this is not a bias at all, because I'm for my black people. I'm talking to y'all because I care about y'all. So what are the differences? Um, but I'm not going to hold no punches either. I'm not going to hold any punches. That's in regards to the point that I'm making. What are the differences? The differences are that those people were fighting because they were small. They were worried about their small businesses going under, and they didn't agree with the stay-at-home order because it was affecting their livelihoods and their way to eat. That I can lean with a little bit more. Why were the black people outside? A so-called barbecue that we didn't see. They were just there. You see what I'm saying? There's a complete difference in what they were doing and why. Because of the behavior. That's why. When white people move as a group to do something, they usually have a reason why they're doing it that is beneficial for the collective of the group that is moving. Why were the black people formed up together so much together? What was their purpose and the reason why they came together and moving as a unit? What was their purpose? Why were they there? We can't even, like I said, I didn't see one barbecue grill. I didn't see any smoke. Nobody was eating some ribs. Nothing. It was just black people outside. It was no different than the hair salon or the beauty supply place. They were there. You mean to tell me that the purpose, the purpose that you're risking your life is for hair? You mean to tell me that the purpose that you're risking your life is just to look at some ugly niggas you don't like anyway? That's the purpose? Versus the purpose being that you're fighting because your business that you work for so long is probably going to go under and you're no longer going to be able to live the lifestyle that you live or feed your family the same way. You see what I'm saying? There's a little bit difference there. So I can understand, even though they're idiots too, in my opinion, because the government's going to do what they're going to do, you know. Um, but at least they march for a reason. It's no different than the civil rights movement. They march for a reason. Though I don't agree with some of the tenet core values of that, they did it for a reason, and I understood why. Even though that they were facing a a a, an oppressive system that could mean very much harm to them, I understand why they did it. I have no reason for people doing what they do. Have no reason at all. But I'm asking, where's the purpose? Where's the purpose? That's what I'm talking to. I'm talking to the behavior. I understand why you were doing uh what you're doing is because you should feel that you should have the freedom to do that. I understand that. But what part of your behavior is pushing you to do that and why? What's the purpose behind it? Because remember, I practice pulling that gun up and down, up and down, up and down for the purpose of eventually defending my own life. There was a reason why I did that behavior. So, what's the behavior for why people do what they do and the benefit of themselves? But moving along. There we go. It's got the kids out, don't even care of the children are sick as well. Yeah, What's the behavior? If you notice, that's another thing that's different. So if you notice that the video from Colorado and the video from these places I'm missing, uh, there are no children that are present when they're at the Capitol building. No children present at all. Behaviors. And this is not a bias. This is, once again, people take the constructive criticism that I have for individuals or a group of people as me disliking them. I don't dislike them. I don't. How am I going to dislike? I don't dislike my people. I don't. I dislike the things that they do, and it's so sad that people can't separate what they do from who they are, because so much in the black community, what they do is who they are. But that should be a complete distinction. Complete distinction. You know where I made that distinction? Once again, the military. Because what I did for the military wasn't who I was. I did that for a purpose. A purpose. And it did not define me as who I am, because I had a higher purpose of why I was doing that in the first place. So it didn't define me. I defined me. I say why I'm going to do anything. Sure, we were marching as a unit, all together, left and right. There was a soldier next to me, but we were marching for different reasons. And we came collectively to do something. My purpose was different from the purpose of the man left and right to me, but we were marching in the same direction. I don't think y'all understand that, do y'all? I don't know. But anyway, I ain't like the. I got something in my mouth. Hold on. Little corn from yesterday. Even though I brushed my teeth this morning. Isn't that funny? I didn't like the live scribes either, especially around a bunch of ninjas. Yep. Let's see here. Bayou Bunny News Talk. I need to see that. Could you send me that? I'm gonna have to. I'm sure somebody's gonna do a video on that. Let's see. I seen that hyena catfish chick with the N95 mask on. Her child had a surgical mask on, just like she's having her nails and hair done while her children is fucked up. Yep. I think I seen that one too. I think I seen that one. These niggas will never change. These niggas will never change. Only free thinking men will. Yep. I mean, I think, I think that more people are waking up. It's just slow pace, and we can't see it because there are so many people who are taking these things into their lives and they're just acting on them. They don't come back and report. They don't come back and make videos like we do. They don't come to the sections that we do. They just sit and watch. Because clearly there are 20 people here, but there are 20 people who are talking, in the chat. They're not. There was 24 people here. Not 24 people showed up talking to chat. So there are people who come here and they listen to this. You know, I believe the effects are working very slow, but I don't necessarily believe that we're going to see immediate change in regards to the things that we talk about here in this rare pill space. Um, uh, I look like a teen wolf, but my wellness before comes before illness. Definitely, I I look rough. Kendra says I like Chinese food so much. I learned how to make it. I don't like the restaurants anymore because they be making me nauseous. I'm gonna have to try some of that out right now. Try some of that out there. Let's see. Uh, these beauty supplies on the south side never close. Everybody got them weaves in, which is fine. It's fine. It's just the behavior. The behavior. We can point to the weave as being, as being, is the weave is symptomatic. You know, it's not necessarily problematic. You get what I'm saying? The weave is just the symptom of the behavior of the pathology. So I like to speak directly to the pathology rather than the symptoms of the pathology. Uh, I point them out definitely because that's how we bore down into the core of what these problems are. Um, but the core is what I like to talk to. Uh, Jesus said, "Preach, will we have a higher purpose?" And folks don't get that. Yes, we do. It's plainly black and white. Chinese food is greasy. I know that's not how they make it in China, but what these Chinese, what Chinese food? Yeah, it's not. Wuhan weaves. Wuhan weaves. Of course, I'll cook it. Definitely appreciate it. Looking forward to it. But anyway, I said I wasn't gonna be here this long, but I have been here this long. So whatever, sue me. I don't know. But that has been my show. I appreciate you guys coming through. I'm not gonna do questions today because these people I talk to anyway. What's up, y'all? My crew. What's good? um, this has been Wolf and the Beta Close. Wolf and Beta Close. I don't like the Beta Close, but this has been the Wolf and Beta Close. May you have a good day and peace be with you.